Studio 41 Football Recap Live is brought to you by Studio 41 Home Design Showroom. 13 locations, studio41.com. Vertical, in business since 1985. Chicago's chimney experts for chimney cleanings, masonry work, gas logs. Verticalchimney.com. Your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers, the official truck partner of the Chicago Bears. Hooters. At Hooters, originality isn't just one thing, it's everything. World-famous wings and more, served up by the iconic Hooters girl. Hooters, always original. Dr. Pepper, an American original, just like our Chicago Bears. Grab an ice-cold, refreshing Dr. Pepper today at a McDonald's near you. Special Olympics Illinois. Special Olympics Illinois, so I did. Learn more at SOILL.org. Apt. For the best appliances for football season, shop at Apt. Pleasing people since 1936. Find them at apt.com. Four Seasons, heating, plumbing, air conditioning, and electric. For all the right reasons, Four Seasons. The Illinois Tollway. If you're a true Chicago fan who loves speed and efficiency, join the team that always wins. Sign up for iPass today. Driving to the Bears game? Get a 50% discount on your tolls with iPass. Hey, welcome into Studio 41 Football Recap Live with Tommy Waddle and Oleg Krutz. I'm David Kaplan. Bears stunned the world with one of the most insane games, winning in overtime over the Green Bay Packers 22-16 on Saturday night. As electric an atmosphere and improbable a victory, but it defines this team. It's our Four Seasons: heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electric game day breakdown. Gentlemen, you both have gone through the tape extensively. Please explain, one of you, how the Chicago Bears were able to pull off a victory.
That's on you, Olin. I can't do it.
I was hoping to say that first, but, at the end of the day, they do pull off a victory. We were talking before we came live on air about you watch the film and you rewatch the film and you watch it again and say, man, how did they pull off that victory after getting outplayed for 3+ quarters, right? And really, the only thing you come away thinking is, someone mentioned to me today, kind of reminded them of the Arizona Cardinals game way back when I played, which is a long time ago. And it was an improbable way to win the game. And I said, the only difference is it's the first time in Chicago in a while that the quarterback won the game. The quarterback and the offensive coach found a way to win the game. And we did win back then, but it was Urlacher's 22 tackles, Mike Brown's scoop and score, and it was Devin Hester's punt return for a touchdown that helped us win the game. And we've seen that in Chicago in a while, and we all know, look, that's not very repeatable, right, Tom? Like, to have a defense dominate, get your takeaways, find ways to win games. But if you do have a quarterback who can make plays at the end of games, that is repeatable. And I think obviously being the Green Bay Packers is exciting, but I think that was so exciting for Chicago, was obviously to beat the Green Bay Packers, but to have the quarterback at the end of the game beat the Green Bay Packers with a pass that was improbable and a catch that was amazing. And it's just something you don't see here a lot.
Let me just give you, Tommy and Olin, Olin mentioned that game. In that game, the Bears quarterback, Rex Grossman, 14 of 37 for 144 yards, no touchdowns, and 4 interceptions, and a passer rating of 10.2.
He had the Blutarski in one of the games too, didn't he? The 0.
He did have a 0.0. Yes.
I agree with what Olin said 100%. That's why I was nodding my head. Yes, this is what makes it feel different for me. And this is why this win, despite the fact, and as Olin said, like they were outplayed for 57 minutes. The quarterback's the reason why you won that game. It's not some fluke that your defense or there were some issues we can go over and some good fortune that they were on the receiving end of. But at the end of the day, it's something I've said also is like, look, Yeah, there's no question. Like they've been on the receiving end of a lot of good fortune, a lot of good moments. But it's what you do with those. If someone lays out a platter of good fortune, you got to eat. So and that's what this team has done. They've taken advantage of the opportunities they've been given. But how about these stats? And it points to how improbable the win was Saturday night, and in some ways how probable this run has been overall. Guys, you realize this is the first time in the modern NFL where any team has won 6 games when they were trailing at the 2-minute mark. And the Bears have done that. NFL teams had lost 501 consecutive games when trailing by 10 or more points with under 2 minutes to play. 501 straight losses by teams that found themselves in the same position the Bears found.
That's nothing for the Pope. That's nothing for the Pope, man. He'll take care of that in a second.
Yes, not Pope. And by the way, before the onside kick was even attempted, their win percentage was like 0.5. So, like,
crazy.
I can go through the long list of. And by the way, like, I don't know if you guys saw Romeo Doubs make that really good catch. It was a great throw. He beat C.J. Gardner-Johnson on the touchdown. But that's a tough catch. You're running full speed, balls out in front of you, the winds, or the one on the sideline. I have no effing idea how he didn't come up with the onside kick, because it wasn't even a good onside kick. It was just casually rolling to him, and he didn't pick it up. So I can't explain it, but I got to tell you guys, I'm enjoying the shit out of it.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, somebody's got to make the play to win the game, right? And Jade Walker, of course, they go blitz 0, and he finds a way. They mess up the coverage there in the corner, and Caleb finds him again under pressure. And then there's also Cap. There's the face mask on 3rd and 20, right? That gives us a first down after a holding call on Dahlman. And then there's also a guy who kept him in the game. I don't even know if I trusted Cairo to make 48-yard field goals without the win. Yeah. So maybe he's that guy you play golf against, and it's a strong win. Also, he's hitting good shots, and he can't golf the rest of the year, right? So you don't want to play the guy in bad weather. I guess it's 51-yarder he made, and just kept keeping him in the game. And every time they tried him out there with the way the wind was blowing, I was like, is Ben Johnson crazy? And this guy's not going to make this field goal. And he just kept making it.
He's fading it.
Yeah.
By the way, Olin mentions that face mask on 3rd and 20. You guys realize in regulation, that was the only 3rd down conversion they had. They were 1 of 10 on 3rd downs in regulation. Like the Packers held the ball for 39 minutes, guys. 39
and then it's first and goal, and there's a fumble on the 3-yard line by Nashawn Wright. Well, what a year he's had. Just the amount of things that actually happened in that game, Cap. I credit the Chicago Bears, call them what you want. But there's been 6 times this year now where if you went back and watched it, you couldn't explain it. And that one, man. I was sitting on my couch about to do a post-game show on the 3 Number network, and I was like, man, I was melting on my couch. My whole family was at the game, and
we lost the OG.
I will say this, Cap. I was with Olin. Like I have no idea how they won.
There he is.
At all.
I don't either. I got to ask you guys a question. So 2 weeks ago, I'm in Green Bay. Great environment, cold, whatever. Bears have a chance to go for the win at the end, and Caleb underthrows it. Give Keyshawn Nixon credit. He went up, made a play, caught the ball. That dude was like a peacock after the game. He was any microphone he could find, that peacock was there, making sure everybody, that was me that got that interception. Well, this gutless wonder after the game on Saturday night, he gives up the touchdown to Jade Walker. He gives up the touchdown to DJ Moore, and he won't talk to the media. He's standing at his locker, and Nate Hobbs goes, he ain't speaking. He's like, yeah, I'm not talking. Romeo Doubs fumbled the onside kick. His wrist is all messed up. He goes right there and said, come on, let's talk. That's 1,000% on me. I've got to be better. I'm out there for a reason. I can't do that, and that's my fault 1,000%. I hate when, and you guys were professional athletes, stand there and peacock when you do something great, but when you don't, you got to be a pro, or am I overstating? Am I wrong?
Cap, you've never overstated anything in your entire life. You've never overreacted about anything I've ever seen.
How is that an overreaction?
No, I'm just look. Certain guys do certain things certain ways. If you come to me and I made a good play, I'll talk to you about it. If you come to me and I didn't make a good play, I'll talk to you about it as well. It's part of the job, but not everyone's. Everybody's built differently, man. You know that. You understand that.
Yeah, I just lost a lot of respect for him.
I don't think you had a ton of respect for him to begin with. So, I mean, like, right. Not a lot lost.
Anybody that plays professional sports, I have great respect for. To get to that level, I know what you guys accomplish. I know how hard it is. I just would have preferred if he'd have stepped up there and go, hey, man, I had a rough night. That's on me. I'll answer any of your questions. What happened here or there? When you peacock on one end and you refuse to talk, that makes me sick. That bothers me.
Yeah, I think Kevin Byard talked about that a little bit the last week when we had him, right, Cap? He talked about how in Green Bay you can hide a little bit. Like, you don't have to face the media every day. And he knows that when he goes back up there this week, there's not going to be all these podcasts and all these radio stations talking about what he did. Like, go ahead, like you're saying, Cap, I always available to talk to the media because I really don't care when I played. I don't know what Tom felt, but I didn't care what they thought about me anyway. I know what the film said. And there was no way to hide from it anyway. If it was I would go and say, like, things are my fault to the media that weren't really my fault. Like on 3rd and 1, if we got stopped, Olin, what happened? I got beat. But I could care less. I know what was on film. I know what's going to happen. Like, everyone knows you got beat. And like you're saying, Cap, if you are going to be the guy talking after a big win and getting the interception and taking all the credit, then after a bad loss, go ahead and speak up too and take the blame for your teammates. But that game, though, Cap, if we talk about this game, that the Bears look like they got beat a lot and looked lucky. That game up there, when they had Parsons, when they had Love, they were in that game, and there wasn't a lot of luck in that game. They were just fighting them toe to toe, which makes me feel good because in case we got to play them here in 3 or 4 weeks, right? If we got the Packers again coming up, because they sure looked like. I mean, it was the first time when I was watching the game, not only the players, Tom, but I thought, man, it's the first time I've seen our coaches get out coached most of the game.
Yeah, I don't understand the first drive, 10 plays, 70 yards, and they went down the field, just kind of carved them up, and I thought set the tone pretty much after stopping them. Obviously the Packers turn it over on downs, Bears get the ball back and drive it the length of the field. It wouldn't be the call I would make what they did on 4th and short. Not only was it strange, but like the ball was snapped, not just back to Munungai.
Between Cole's legs, wasn't it?
Through Cole's legs.
Cole's got a back. Like, he's like right up against a Dolman. And listen, I read on, like, people are like, well, they just got to execute the play. And I thought to myself, that's someone who's never executed a play, right? Like listen, like, if you're saying, hey, guy, if they would have just made the snap, and guys, I mean, give the ball to the O-line was dominated. Ben Johnson, I know everybody wants to worship at his altar and light incense, but he can't make bad calls. And that was a bad call.
Yeah. Bingo. And he did say to Tom Rinaldi at halftime, he said, hey, that's on me. That was a ridiculously bad call.
Well, and
I appreciate the honesty.
If you're going to get cute, it's got to work. You know what I mean? If you're going to get cute, it's got to work. But I think that decision and that lack of converting that 4th down kind of set the tone for the malaise that was their offense. I believe they only had 2 other possessions in the first half and only 10 total plays. So I think it just set the tone. I'm with Ola too. I go back to the game 3 weeks ago. I thought the team collectively played better. Defense, not so much because they gave up the big plays, but offensively, I thought the team played much better up in Green Bay than they did on Saturday night here in town.
I thought LaFleur and Hafley really did a nice job and put on a show pretty much most of that night. And credit the Bears for obviously hanging in and coming up with the plays at the end of the game, right? But the thing that they got to worry about, obviously, is, as you guys know, when a team puts on film, how to slow you down, what to do. The thing the Packers were doing by cage rushing, keeping Caleb in the pocket. When he was trying to boot, they were setting the backside contain guys straight at him so he couldn't get outside the pocket and making him play from the pocket throughout the whole game and mixing up coverages. And I almost thought to myself, man, for 1 week, obviously they'll miss Parsons as time goes on, but for 1 week they showed up and it was a whole new plan that's never been on film. And a little confusing. The Chicago Bears was the first time, Tom. I thought I saw mental mistakes in a while. I thought I saw guys going to the wrong guys. They missed their wide receivers, right? I thought Zacchaeus, they were trying to add him in there on run blocking plays, and he didn't do great, right? It was the first time they asked him to do that all year. And I just thought the defense, Halfley was ahead of Ben Johnson most of the game, and nobody made a play.
Let's give the Packers credit. Like, I think they got pissed off hearing about how they were going to just fold with no Micah Parsons. And I think LaFleur said it, certainly Halfley too, is look, we were a top 5 defense last year without Micah Parsons. So, it's
and they didn't get him till the end of training camp, basically.
Yeah.
So they were preparing to be without him.
I thought they did a fabulous job. I give them all the credit in the world. And as much as I love to hate the Packers, like, they're really well coached. Halfley's not going to be there forever. Halfley's going to get, probably going to get an opportunity to be a head coach somewhere else. But the game plan that they had in place, again, this is a Bears team that I believe, fellas, was converting 44% of their third down opportunities, which ranked them 5th. And this was a Packers defense that was probably middle of the pack, 16th through 17th third down defense. The Bears were 1 for 10 in the regulation in third downs, and that was because of a penalty. So the game plan that the Packers had and how they executed it was very impressive.
All right, go ahead. Oh, do you have something, Olin, you wanted to say?
No, I was just going to say that we hear Ben Johnson and his coaching staff and even all the players talk about all the truth telling they do, right? We're truth tellers in this building, and that's all we're doing right now. And hopefully after that win, it feels great, but you got to do a little truth telling. I thought that's why we try to talk about, like, do you guys understand the rivalry? Do you understand the emotions you're about to feel when you walk into Soldier Field? And I thought for a while they're in the game with the personal fouls, with whatever DeMarco Jackson was doing on the top of the pile in the first kickoff, and the personal fouls and the Brisker personal foul. And I thought the moment seemed a little big for this team for a lot of the game. And again, like, you got to credit the quarterback and the receivers and the play calling at the end of the game, and coming up with the defensive stops. And obviously they fumbled a snap on 4th and 1, which is another part of holy moly, man, how did that happen? But all those stuff has to happen in the game. Someone had to make a play. It's still an incredible catch by DJ Moore, so not taking that away from them. But if you're the head coach of the Chicago Bears and you're a truth teller, then you put this film up and say, guys, if we play like this in one, next week, the week after that, and if we got to play the Packers again on wild card weekend, it could be a problem. So won the game, love it. All that's true. Like we talked about last week when Caleb said, like, I can make every throw, but I'll put the balls in harm's way. We saw it again this week, right? McKinney dropped it. It's in harm's way, right? So a lot of these things, like, you when you be a truth teller, then you got to be a truth teller all the time, even after a win like that.
That's similar to what I was saying to you, that you said, Keyshawn Nixon, you want to step up when you made a great play? Say it. But you got to say it the other way, too. Yes. Let's do our winging it and our apt player of the game. It's our Hooters winging it, Caleb Williams numbers. And by the way, we'll be at Hooters on the 6th of January, our final remote show. Caleb Williams, 19 of 34, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 runs for 30 yards. Go to originalhooters.com, find one of the 11 Chicagoland locations near you. And we gave him the player of the game. I could have given it to Cairo Santos. Jeez, that guy was ridiculous. DJ Moore came on big in the second half, but our apt player of the game, abt.com, and they're in Glenview on Milwaukee Avenue, Caleb Williams. How would you guys have voted for player of the game if you were making the pick? Tommy?
I would probably go with the quarterback, and a close second would have been Cairo Santos, because you're not going to win that game without Cairo. But at the end of the day, like, the ball's in the hand of your quarterback. And I thought he played uneven. I don't know how you feel, Olin, but watched the tape the last 2 weeks. I think it's composed as I've seen him play. Like his feet are quiet for the most part. He feels comfortable. He looks comfortable. Still misses some throws. That's got to be cleaned up. But I just feel like he's kind of, the game's slowing down for him, and he's comfortable being in structure, something he's never done in his entire career. And, the 3 throws, you got to applaud them. I go back to before the Jade Walker touchdown throw. If you watch the deep,
the one to DJ in the middle.
Yeah, he, first of all, he lets it go before DJ's out of his break, and he's got a defensive lineman in his face. And DJ makes a really good catch, but Caleb throws it. He throws it into a window because there was actually a cornerback that was in line with him with where DJ was at the time. So the throw was just exceptional. The throw to Jade Walker, they break the coverage. I mean, it's simple because Walker's wide open running the sail route to the corner, but Caleb's got to let it develop. So he's got the pressure coming from his left, and he's got to hold it. And he's backing up, and he's got to hold it. He can't throw it too soon, or Walker won't have turned. And he just kind of drops it in the bucket. So that one's beautiful. And then the final one, guys, it's just an elite throw. It's just kind of a lazy post that goes across the field. They got what they wanted because they were in 3 tight ends, and they knew they had single coverage on DJ, and they told him just run a post and run it all the way across the field. And Caleb just threw the perfect throw, and it was a fantastic catch. But I guess it's a long way of saying, when they needed the quarterback most, he delivered. So I would give your award to Caleb Williams for how he played in crunch time.
OG?
Yeah, and Ben Johnson, of course, guesses correctly that they'll be a man on that play, which, gosh, they're in zone most of the day. I know Ben is, again, sometimes he calls plays, and I'm like, how the hell did he do that? But, to Tom's point, the quarterback at the end of the day makes the plays to win the game. Cairo, obviously, a close second there. But there's also, the first drive, I think he goes through like 4 or 5 reads and hit Jade Walker there. There's a 34-yard pass to Monungai on a free blitzer. I got to watch the TV copy to see what the calls were there and why Quay Walker was just free, which he shouldn't have been. It should have been a squeeze, or the center should have been going that way. By squeeze, I mean the guarding tackle would come down, take the most dangerous, and leave the wide rusher for Caleb to negotiate. And one of the biggest things he's doing, guys, is he's just not taking sacks.
Yeah.
And he gets the ball away. And even with the intentional grounding that he had, and you can see a lot of times he's frustrated by the fact that it's almost like he understands where the protection should have been protecting him, or the route the receiver should have been running. And I thought this was one of the first games I saw him. I'm sure he's been doing it before, but the leadership on that part of it, being frustrated, telling guys where they're supposed to be, who they're supposed to block, what they're supposed to be doing. And with his arm talent that we saw at the end of the game, if he gets that part of it, this is going to be a dangerous quarterback. But everyone, even in Green Bay 2 weeks ago, you saw it against Cleveland, you saw it now. There's a long stretch to this game that was not very good, right? And the ball was, but it was the whole offense, and he missed his 2 receivers, and Green Bay's like Cross or River with everybody we missed, but they did miss their 2 receivers there. And but just the fact of like not taking those sacks, right? Those drive-killing sacks, getting the ball out, find a way to get out. I mean, there was one, he spun out on Gary, right? I mean, it's just crazy. Throws the ball away, and just those few passes I saw, especially the Monungai one where Quay Walker just came free right up the B gap, and he got it to Monungai for 34 yards. Then Monungai runs over somebody on the side. That kid is fun to watch run the football, man. But this team has so much personality, a lot of fight. They don't believe they're ever out of it. And at the end of the game, even though there was a ton of things that happened that they won the game, at the end of the game, there was a sequence of events that you're like, yeah, but gosh, that's a good play, and that's a very good play call.
To that point, Olin, you guys realize they run that 13 personnel, I believe, 6 times in the game. And the first 5 times they ran it, they ran the ball. And then the 6th time was the one where they ran that three tight ends in that formation, and they actually threw the ball to DJ on the. So like I'm with you all, and I have no idea how Ben is deciphering all of this. But everything that he does seems to have a purpose and has some sort of connection as the game rolls on later in the day.
Our Dr. Pepper play of the game, Dr. Pepper, an American original, just like our Chicago Bears, pleasing your taste buds since 1885. Grab an ice cold refreshing Dr. Pepper at a McDonald's near you. It is the Caleb Williams game-winning touchdown with Keyshawn Nixon draped on his back. 46 yards for the game-winning TD. Whatever you think of Pro Football Focus, Chris Collinsworth's thing, they came out today and ranked that throw the highest graded throw so far in the 2025 season. And then Tom Brady called it a 10-star throw, A+. He goes, whatever you want to call it. And you watch the replay, Caleb lets it go, and he puts his hands in his hand warmer and just stands there like, and Brady goes, he knew it as soon as he threw it. I got him. He said he just knew it. It's a hell of a catch, man.
Yeah, it was a hell of a catch and a hell of a throw, and that's why people were saying he was going to be the first pick of the draft from when he was in high school, right? Like, his arm talent is unbelievable, and his athleticism, and I know he put his, but if you watch the whole game, he did that on every play. Every time he put his hands hand warmer, every time he threw the ball, he put his hands hand warmer. So he did it about 60 times that day. It looked cool, obviously when he did the Iceman, that was cool too, man. But
yeah.
And then running around the stadium and shaking all the fans' hands, and have a day, man. When you have a day like that.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, enjoy it. We had callers saying that, people were crying in the stands. And, my family said you should see people crying in the excitement, all those things after all the losses to Green Bay and LaFleur. And listen, if you want to take that win last year at the end of the season as a win against LaFleur, it really wasn't. This was your first win against LaFleur, right? Jordan Love was out. They took Jacobs out of the game. Like, they didn't play some of their starters last year. So if you want to chalk that up as a win against LaFleur, I'm sure he doesn't feel that way. This was you beat them, and it feels even better that you stole it from them, where they'll cry about it for 2 or 3 weeks here, hoping they play us again. And let's all hope it happens again, because that will be fun and that will be cinema.
Let me ask you guys both. You played in this game many, many times. The rivalry, DJ Moore in the locker rooms wearing a cheese grater hat. Caleb and his charity yesterday handing out food to the less fortunate for the holiday coming up, and he's wearing the cheese grater hat. And then DJ Moore literally on the field doing the Tom Rinaldi interview goes, F the Packers. And then he used the full word in the locker room. Is there that much bad blood? Did you feel it when you guys were playing? I effing hate that team.
Well, listen, I was in the era where Ditka was still saying we could go 2-14 as long as we won the 2 games against the Packers.
He almost fist fought Forrest Gregg on the sidelines.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this a bunch. I think that the rivalry is still tremendously meaningful. But back when we played, like, there was no free agency. Free agency, I told you guys this the other, day. Like, free agency came into play like 91. Like, you couldn't go anywhere unless they traded you. So, like, you were stuck, which I think nurtured the relationship and the foundation of these rivalries. I know that it's still really important now, but I don't think they feel it the way that Olin and I felt it years and years ago. But I just think that that's the evolution of the game. But look, I think what's most important is you got to be a better team inside your division. And yes, Packers are your biggest rival, but also make the Minnesota Vikings feel you and make the Lions feel you too. Like, it's been a long time since this team has had, a successful year inside the division. So yeah, it starts with the Packers. I want them all to feel like we are their rival. Everyone has looked at us up until
it's the homecoming game.
Nobody. The Vikings don't look at us as a rival. Like, the Packers look to the Vikings and look to the Lions. The Lions don't look to us. Here's hoping that all that shit's changing.
I asked Olin one day, he and I were having breakfast, and I said, did you feel like a little more like amped up when you played the Packers? I think I would have been. That's what I said. He goes, yeah, did you ever block Gilbert Brown? Did you ever have to go up against whoever the hell else you told me was in there? He goes, of course I was ready. Those guys were animals in front of me.
Yeah, and all you got to do is get to if you like you'll grow to hate them. You'll grow to understand the rivalry. And I think the players showed up at that game and felt the energy in the stadium versus the Packers, and, heard all the chants, and, You hear the Packers, the fans talking about it, and you feel the energy in the stadium. And all of a sudden, you see what you watch, right? It gets real chippy out there, and you're playing like Tom is saying, you're playing for the NFC North, which ramps it way up, right? And that's been the problem with the rivalry and with the Bears lately, is that people were just, let the Bears beat the Bears. They'll do it. Eventually, they'll make a mistake and we'll win this football game and go home. But things, you hear a lot of people saying right now that these aren't the same Chicago Bears. Now, the locker room saying that a lot, but also people who are starting to watch the Chicago Bears, and you're watching, analysts on Twitter and ESPN tripping over themselves to get the Bears film out and talk about the Bears. And the Bears are a big story this year. When the Bears are good, Tom knows this better than anybody. So do you, Cap. It's good for everybody, right? Chicago Bears are one of the biggest markets in the NFL, in football. Fans are passionate, right? And Kevin Warren should have called Pritzker right after the game and asked for a deal at Arlington Heights. You never know what could have happened. Always hit it when you're hot, always go when you're hot, and you got the public sentiment behind you. But the rivalry, like Tom is saying, you got to win and be good for it to be a rivalry, right? Yeah. So I feel like the Packers are starting to feel us a little bit here, Cap. Like you said, they don't want to do the interviews after the game, and Ben called them out, but obviously Ben calls good plays also, and his quarterback making plays. And they're saying, the Chicago Bears are on top of the North and number 2 seed in the NFC, and all those things are true. So Tom is saying, they got to feel you, and I think people are starting to feel the Bears, and that's why the rivalry is coming back.
All right, we will take our break. But first, let's do our vertical catch of the game. 4th and 4, game on the line, final seconds. Caleb Williams, 6-yard touchdown pass under heavy pressure to Jahdae Walker, his first TD catch of his career. He made a really nice grab on a ball that when it left Caleb's hands, I thought he overthrew him, but he got him, tapped the feet down, tumbled to the ground. The extra point sent the game to overtime. Vertical in business since 1985, a great year here. Chicago's chimney experts, chimney cleanings, masonry work, gas logs. I've used them. You should too. Verticalchimney.com. Quick timeout. We'll come back more with the guys right after this.
Our family had been talking about redoing the kitchen for a long time. Studio 41 had all the pieces I wanted.
With Studio 41, we found their prices competitive. They helped us stay on a budget.
They spent a lot of time with me in the studio, and I got to touch and feel things.
Our big fear was if you go online, who's standing behind the product? Studio 41 had the best selection, and they took her ideas and brought it to life.
It was everything I dreamed it could be.
Visit studio41.com to find a showroom near you.
At Vertical Chimney Care, our goal is to keep you warm and safe. Since 1985, we've been doing just that, providing our Chicagoland neighbors value, reliability, and peace of mind. From chimney cleanings and flue liners to fireplace rebuilds and restorations, the chimney technicians and expert masons deliver top quality inspections, maintenance, and repairs using the latest fire safety technology with quality you can trust. At Vertical, we aim to treat every home like it's our own home. Vertical, trusted by homeowners, built on care.
Okay, we're just here for dishwashers.
Just a dishwasher.
All right, our special teams play of the game brought to you by our great partners at Special Olympics Illinois. And voices tell us you can't or you won't. We simply say, I did. Special Olympics Illinois. So I did. Learn more at SOILL.org. Bears onside kick by Cairo Santos, who, by the way, should be commended for the 3 field goals. The guys were talking about it earlier that he made. Josh Blackwell made the recovery off the hands of Romeo Dobbs of the Green Bay Packers. That onside kick, that's the second one that he's been able to be successful with. They said it's an 8% chance that you'll recover an onside kick. I don't like the rule that you have to inform the other team. I like the surprise nature of it.
It's so stupid. First of all, DJ Moore tweeted and said, hold my beer, about giving the catch of the game to his friend and fellow wide receiver Jade Walker.
Well, we gave him the play of the game. What do you want me to do?
Like that was an uncontested catch. He didn't have anyone around him. Good play, but DJ had a guy basically molesting him as
we gave him the play of the game.
I just think like my humble opinion, which people would argue I never have a humble opinion, but, especially people in my own house, that the wide receiver on the show should probably pick the catch of the game. Just my humble opinion. Just,
why can't
I know
he
your name's on the show, Cap, but
why can't he have both? He can have catch of the game and play of the game.
Yeah,
why can't he have both?
Okay.
You spreading the love.
Ryan just made an
you wanted to trade him, and then you were asking what was wrong with him 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. By the way, like Cap, Brees Hall's he's still on his way here. He's going to play. Is he on his way?
Cap, go ahead. Take shots at me about the offensive line. I was just as wrong, Cap. Go ahead. I'm ready.
Ryan has made the executive decision.
Text chain.
We're
Text
going
chain's
to
going to get
text
bigger.
the two of you, and you guys are going to pick the player.
Ryan Posey and Ian Cunningham, they had their whatever their drink of choices, and they run me down all night. Remember when Olin said we didn't know? Hey, to the winner goes the spoils, man.
That's it.
In all seriousness, I want to ask Olin this question. I think one of the things that is being overlooked this year, and not intentionally, but I think one of the most important components to what they're doing, especially on offense this year, is obviously their offensive line. People don't realize Jonah Jackson missed 13 games last year. Drew Dolman missed 9 games last year. Obviously, Tooney's an Iron Man. But I believe, other than just a handful of plays, from your left guard to your right tackle, they have all played 99% of the plays together. And again, you've had to mix and match a little bit on the left side. Now, I'm not trying to minimize that. But Olin, tell me another line in the National Football League that has had that much continuity and that much health that has helped propel them to be the second best running attack in the league.
Now you tip your cap to the guy who came with the plan to put them together, right? To put that unit out there. Jonah Jackson, you guys know I've said on this podcast, I didn't like moving him to right guard. I thought he played an all-pro level at left guard in Detroit, but they said, hey, he'd be fine there. And they were right. In the first, 2 or 3 games, it was kind of rocky, but that coach Dan Rochar stuck with him, kept coaching him, and then credit their strength staff, right? The strength staff there and their high-performance staff and all the other staffs that they have there. They're keeping these guys healthy on the field. I'm probably like you, like a former player, I hate talking about that. I feel like there's a little karma to it, you know what I mean? And I feel like you're walking up to a pitcher throwing a no-hitter and saying, hey, man, you got a no-hitter going on. So Chicago Bears, though, that offensive line, and not only that, physical, tough, run off the ball. Their running backs, Coach Bieniemy, they brought him in. Look like they're fully bought in, right? Swift and Monangai run down in hard. Colson Loveland blocking Cole Kmet. They bring Bennett in to play an extra tight end. Durham Smythe. I mean, these guys, man, it's a fun team to watch play football. Now, we talked about that 3.5 to 3 and whatever quarters that they just played. Got to get that straightened out a little bit. But for most of this year, and which I came in and said, man, why not draft Ursary out of Minnesota, who's playing left tackle for Houston, doing a nice job, and Olu Fashanu, and why not get a left tackle? But man, to your point, Tom, what a year that unit has had, and credit to Coach Dan Rochar, Ryan Posey, Ian Cunningham, 2 former offensive linemen, for seeing the plan, putting it on the field, and then seeing it come to fruition.
By the way, Olin mentioned going up to a starting pitcher. Hey, you got a no-hitter? I meant to bring this up to you. I was talking to Joe Girardi, and he said, I had a guy, Anibal Sanchez. It's the bottom of the 8th inning. He's sitting on the bench. He's 3 outs from a no-hitter. He said, the catcher walks up to Joe. Hey, man, how come nobody's sitting around him? Is there something wrong with him? Is he sick? He's catching the game. And Joe said, are you aware what he's got going? He's like, no, what's he got going? Hey, dumbass, you're catching the game. He hasn't given up a hit yet. What? Oh, I didn't even know that. Do you you have no idea? You're oblivious to what's going on?
Hey, Tom, let me tell you a better one. Imagine you had a guy who lost a Super Bowl, right? And then a story comes out about that Super Bowl. And you just I'm having a decent, the guy, we're talking about some other guy, having a decent day. And his friend sends him a text about some story about the Super Bowl they lost. I said, I mean, not me, some other guy said to his friend, why in the hell would you think I'd want to know any story about one of the worst days of my life? And this guy thought it was a great idea to send this guy who lost the Super Bowl the story about Tony Dungy and why he would kick to hell. Fuck, I care about that.
Who would do that to you?
With friends like that. Hey, what did you call the guy? Hey, dumbass. That. There you go.
You should know better, Cap. What are you
My
doing?
my dear friend. My dearest friend, Cap.
Yeah.
I saw the story. I had never heard it talked about that. I'm like, I got to send that to Tommy. I got a text chain here. Olin's on it too. I'll just put it on. And it wasn't 60 seconds later. And he said, I'm going to remind you of the worst day of your life. I said,
Yeah.
my first wedding.
I think you guys are even. I think you're even.
I didn't say. He said it. I didn't say it.
Okay.
No, I didn't say it.
Soggy Kid 5580 wants to know, Packer fans are calling it Heatergate because the heated bench and the heaters went out. Like, if one thing went out, I get it. When all of it went out, do you guys believe it was nefarious? Because I do.
I don't care. I could care less.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I went up to Green Bay when they were redoing their stadium, and I had to get dressed in like a mobile home, and you never want to get into a small mobile home when 50 guys show up for a 12 o'clock game, and everybody's got to use the bathroom in the morning, right? So I don't feel too bad for them losing a few heaters out there.
I hope so. I think that it would tell me that the Bears on a number of fronts are pointed in the right direction.
They're serious about winning.
I like that. I like Ben even more now.
Yeah, like I hope he's got people that are pulling fire alarms in their hotels when they come to town.
Yes.
Like
They did
whatever
that
it
to you
takes.
guys.
Let's
Whatever.
get the rivalry going. Let's get it going.
Wouldn't they Packer fans drive around your hotel and honk the horn late at night?
Yes, of course.
Yes.
What else did they have to do up there?
Not a lot. I live up there part-time
Yeah.
near it.
Well, you just drive around and hit your horn because you're 65 years old and you're a little soft. Correct?
Sure, whatever you say.
What a good win, man. What a good win. That
It
Yeah,
was.
was. How much fun is it when the Bears are winning?
It
A year
was
ago,
awesome,
we're like,
man.
well, they've lost 9 in a
I
row.
was literally home alone. I was screaming, man. When DJ caught that ball, I went nuts. Seriously, that was one hell of a catch and throw. It really was, and it was so improbable, right? It was just so like for so long you were like watching, like where the hell's our run game? Why can't we stop the run, right? Like I tell you guys, man, I've been saying this for weeks. Like they got to find some way to put Javon Dexter at DN and suit up Jonathan Ford and put another nose guard in there because if they keep going with Booker and Dominique Robinson at DN and putting Grady Jarrett at nose guard and putting in Chris Williams, people are going to run the ball at them, man. Now, obviously, Tremaine Edmonds, I don't know you guys, so I thought he was really rusty in the game, and he'll play his way into shape and start hitting his gaps and filling his hole. But late in the season here, man, like you guys know, you got to stop the run.
And they couldn't do it. The
Olin
Packers
was
had for 94 yards in that game.
Yeah.
They
Olin
couldn't
was
stop.
at home by himself. My wife and my son Brett and I, our 2 little grandkids were there. They're going to bed. And I'm like, she's like, shh, keep the noise down. I'm like, Olin's home by himself. Maybe I can go over there. And she said, the Bears look horrible. You sure you want to make that decision? I'm like, that's probably a good idea, baby. Probably a good idea.
You're more than welcome,
Let me
Cap,
tell you
man.
this story about Tony Dungy was thinking the night before.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom, I was having a great day too, man. The Bears are winning on the way to the playoffs all of a sudden. Remember that Super Bowl you lost? No, I don't. I don't remember it at all.
And I don't want to hear about it ever again. Our Chevy drive of the game is 8 plays, 53 yards, took $135. It ends with the 6-yard TD pass. Caleb Williams to Jade Walker. Chevy is the official truck partner of the Chicago Bears. It was amazing to see when he made that throw as he's backpedaling and two guys bearing down him. That was a zero blitz, correct, guys?
Well, all I know is the coverage was broken. Yeah, there was nobody in the middle of the field. I'm not sure what the Packers were. They've broken a lot of coverages. Go back to the first matchup with them up, and as well as Hafley has really prepared those guys. In the first matchup, they told you they broke the coverage on the final play, and Caleb just didn't get it out quick enough and get it far enough out. But yeah, I mean, total coverage mistake, and Jade was wide open. And as I described it earlier, and you just mentioned, Cap, the patience that Caleb actually, he had to show to let the play develop despite being pressured, from his left side was really impressive. So, yeah, I'm not sure what they were trying to do, but they certainly had a miscommunication.
Yeah, a lot of I don't know what you guys thought watching the film, but a lot of Flores concepts on there that gave the Bears fits up there in Minnesota with that blitz zero look, pulling guys back, dropping D linemen back, helping in zone coverage, overloading one side or the other, bringing cornerbacks, and bringing them off the edge in those they call them closet formations where the receivers are close to the tight end. So a lot of halfway through went to that Minnesota film when the Bears played 19-17 up there late, right? It was a kickoff return and ran the ball. I remember Caleb and the passing game didn't do real good that game either. So the Bears could start to see a little more of those concepts now coming at them, and until they prove that they can either move the ball or beat it.
On that play, as well, as Olin was mentioning, they did have a defensive lineman drop back into coverage, and he was trying to get underneath the shallow route. But unfortunately for the Packers, both of their cornerbacks came forward instead of somebody dropping back. Somebody's got to drop back and cover the back third, because the underneath part of that is covered by the dropping lineman. Now, we can talk about whether or not a dropping lineman is going to give you much coverage, but yeah, they were completely confused, which I've always been baffled by. And again, Hafley was a BC coach. I got to know him briefly a little bit. I think he's done a great job with Green Bay. But in crunch time, I don't know how these guys, they butcher coverages. At least your assignments. Know your assignments. And if you make a physical mistake, I get that. But mental mistakes, especially in crunch time, are inexcusable.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, if you think about it, is maybe that's where Parsons not being there showed up, right? Because maybe that's a play they put in this week to create pressure, because you could argue if Parsons is there, they're playing, cover 3, cover 2, and they're just going to rush 4, right? And Parsons, and let him create the havoc there in the backfield. And that's probably why, that's why you see bust when something is all of a sudden you can say like, hey man, we didn't have him all camp. Well, that's fine, but you still haven't repped that for 5 months. Like you could say that. It sounds great, but you haven't repped those blitzes that all of a sudden you got to put in now. And then, like, Tom and Cap, better than anybody, the secondary is like an offensive line, man. Communication is critical back there. Are we going to combo his coverage, or are we just sticking man? And all those things have to be communicated when you're setting everybody at the quarterback.
Yeah.
In terms of looking at this game, if you were still playing, Olin, would you want to play Green Bay again if you could dictate your playoff path now that you've clinched? Or would you say, no, I'm good, I've had enough of them?
I think you do want to play Green Bay again. I think that you want to take a look at your path to the Super Bowl, but they are beat up, right? They do have some guys out, and they're not at full strength. And a lot of those guys now, Zach Tom, the right tackle, could be back, and Evan Williams could be back for that next matchup, which makes them stronger. But I mean, you always want to play a team that and then you go in there and then the rubber match, and it'd be a huge win for you in Chicago. And you always want to play the games that will make you a legend, right? If you beat Green Bay in the playoffs, that's the game.
Yeah, and
would you?
Yeah, I agree with it. Look, they're a good team, but you play them twice a year, so their tendencies. So, I think it's actually an easier prep work for you as you get ready to go, and then it just becomes an issue of player execution. So I'd have no problem playing the Green Bay Packers. Again, I respect the hell out of them. I think they're a fantastic football team. Now, I mean, if you want to send the Carolina Panthers here, you want to send, I think the Eagles are, a little bit of in a struggle bus right now too, but I got no problem playing the Packers. I don't fear anyone. I think the Rams are the most complete team in the NFC, but we've seen that they're human as well. I think parity is on display in this league right now, especially this year.
Well, all right, let's get into our look ahead before I let you guys go as we play San Francisco on the road, Sunday Night Football. It's brought to you by our great partners at the Illinois Tollway. Bears fans, let's be real. Whether you're heading to Soldier Field like Olin's family or Tommy were the other day, cruising down I-90 or road tripping out of state, nobody likes sitting in lines at tolls. That's where iPass comes in. With iPass, save 50% on Illinois tollways. Works seamlessly on all easy pass roads across the country. No more invoices, no more waiting, just automatic payments and alerts when your balance is low. So if you're a true Chicago fan who loves speed and efficiency, join the team that always wins. Sign up for iPass today. Okay, San Francisco's up 24-17 at the half in Indianapolis tonight. They are not a team that gets a lot of pressure on the quarterback, especially since Nick Bosa went down early in the year with a knee injury. Brock Purdy, pretty solid quarterback. Christian McCaffrey, obviously a hell of a player, as is George Kittle. Your guys' thoughts on this matchup? Olin, we'll start with you.
Cap, say Trent Williams. Come on now. Say Trent Williams.
He
Say the left tackle.
Best. I was just talking the skill position.
Yeah,
guys.
no, I got you. No,
The best
listen.
left tackle in football, right?
Always a tough road trip. Shanahan's got that offense. Looks like they're going again. And Christian McCaffrey, you worry about him. Obviously, Trent Williams versus Austin Booker and Kittle over there and Juszczyk. And then you watch the way the Bears stopped the run this past week, and you start to worry a little bit. Okay, like, got to find a way to slow that run game down. Obviously, one thing I didn't like was the way the Packers were getting movement. They were moving the Bears defensive line off the ball. So Bears got to go back to work again. The pads low, changing line of scrimmage. Now Billings did some nice things out there. Tremaine Edmonds will be, I think he'll knock some of that rust off and then get that run game going a little bit earlier in the pass game. Attack the defense, like you said, Cap, has a lot of injuries, but Robert Saleh, very good, right? The Bears have faced really good defensive coordinators here now, back to back to back. They've been rolling on them, right, with Fangio and Halfley and Saleh and all these guys who they're about to face. So you'll see some of the same concepts, I think. And this, but the 49ers are by no way like a team like a juggernaut that you cannot beat. Although Shanahan seems to have that offense rolling again all of a sudden.
They're so well coached. Saleh is fantastic. He's coming back has been a great addition. They've won 4 in a row, but they beat the Titans, they beat in Cleveland. Who else? They beat Atlanta and they beat Arizona. So like a win's a win in this league. I get it, but they haven't just been road grading teams. They get no pass rush at all. 16 sacks this year, dead last in the NFL. The fact that they're hanging on with a group of guys, I have no idea who any of them are. I mean, I got to be honest with you. Like, that gives me a tremendous amount of respect for Robert Saleh. I think that one of the keys is obviously trying to contain Christian McCaffrey. That's not, breaking any new news, but not just slowing him down in the running game. He's only averaging like 3.8 yards per carry. But in the passing game, you watch some of that tonight with Indianapolis, who's got some good defensive players. He's got 86 catches coming into this game. They get you hooked up on that little Texas route, and then they'll hit you on a wheel route. Like, trust me, Shanny's going to try to get him isolated on our linebackers and take advantage of that matchup. So there are some, in kind of in the weeds types of stuff that the 49ers are really good at, that you really don't recognize when you look at them on surface. Like, again, Purdy's averaging almost an interception per game played over the course of the last year plus. If you can get to him, which we don't get to quarterbacks, you can force him into making mistakes. So you got to go after that. But I would defensively, I would make sure I'm focusing on trying to contain Christian McCaffrey, not just as a running back, but in the passing game. That's where everything opens up. If you can get one of your running backs running in seams and across the middle of the field, and then you add in George Kittle, and then that shit gets really hard to defend. And you're probably going to be without CJ Gardner-Johnson, right, guys? Because I don't think he came back. And he's not the world's greatest in coverage, but he does help you, dropping into the box and defending the run. So they're an interesting team. I'm not as Olin said, they're not a juggernaut, but they've got to be a bitch to game plan for because they're so well coached.
OG, your thoughts? What are your keys to this?
Well, I was waiting on you, Kat. What you got?
Well, as I look at this thing,
Yeah.
I again, the Bears don't pressure quarterbacks, nor do the San Francisco 49ers, but I still think you can run on this team. I absolutely do. I felt like the play down on 4th down on the first drive, it was Ben wanting to let everybody know how smart he was. Mm-hmm. Not because he thought the play was – hey, man, did you see what I just did? I hate when coordinators do that. Just run the goddamn ball. Pick up the yard, and that's where I think Shanahan is better than a lot of them, because I remember watching a post-game interview. They went to Green Bay in the playoffs. I think it was the NFC title game, and they threw 7 passes. And they asked him at the press conference, why did you only throw 7 times? He said, because the goddamn run was working. And I feel like a lot of coordinators don't embrace that philosophy because they want to go, see how smart I am, how creative I am. Don't get creative. Run the ball right at them. That's what I think.
Yeah, I was the most disappointing thing about this Packers game until they found a way to win it, obviously, was I thought our offensive and defensive line had a chance to really take over the game with the injuries that the Packers had coming in, right? With the right tackle being out, Elton Jenkins, their starting center, being out, the offensive line with Devontae Wyatt and Micah Parsons out. They had guys up off their practice squad in there that played pretty good for the Packers. And Cap, like you're saying, and Tom mentioned, when you go into this game, they have injuries, right? And they don't have a bunch. They obviously have Trent Williams at left tackle, but they don't have a bunch of stars across the board. And you just see a chance for our lines again to be the more physical unit, to get after people, to get going downhill. I'd love to see leave this game. And a key for me has been a key all year for the Chicago Bears is have the offensive line be the best unit on the field. Like between all the teams, just be the best unit on the field. Tom talked earlier about from left tackle to right tackle, how good they are and how good they look on film. And allow them to do that and give Monanga and Swift the ball. And obviously, you can't just allow him to run the ball on every play, but Ben doesn't, right? And then the matchup between Ben Johnson and Kyle Shanahan. And we finally got one, right? We got a guy where you go in and you say, man, they got this play caller, and you whisper to somebody in Chicago, so do we. So do we got one hell of a play caller. So I think the matchup between the coaching staff, which I thought the Bears might have lost most of that game against the Packers, and then I like to see the offensive line reemerge as the dominating unit that they have been.
Tommy, a prediction?
I think this one's going to be a high-scoring game. I really do. I don't think either defense is prepared to slow down the other offense. I think this is a natural spot for the Bears maybe to have a bit of a bump. So I'll say 49ers 27, Bears 24. But as I've said all along, guys, like, I'm not getting in front of this fucking bus. Okay. Like,
Tom, I was going to tell you, if you got a 1-score game, the Bears win. Like, if you got a 1-score, I'm waiting for one of the 49ers to get nicked up. Something's going to happen. Just miss a game.
I said it.
1 or 2 games next
before
week.
You came on, he said, oh, yeah, I'm sure we're going to hear Christian McCaffrey's out for the rest of the game with a hand.
I've been waiting all night, man. I'm like watching TV. Like, okay, someone's going down.
I was telling our producers who like to make a wager or two, I said, hey, just, you know what? Here's a hedge for you. Bet Christian McCaffrey 107.5 total yards. Bet the under. Just thinking that somehow, some way
he's going to get hurt.
And just 1 week. The 1 week. We're not wishing a horrible injury on him, but just 1 week, right? Yeah. Trent can roll an ankle. You know, Trent can roll an ankle, or something can happen there.
Knockout. Trent might be their single best player on their roster.
Yeah,
so you go, oh, the left tackle's out. Yeah, nice. We'll see what happens. Well, hey, Merry Christmas to you guys. Happy, healthy New Year. Thrilled that I get to do this with you each and every week. And it's a lot of fun because it's the first time since we've been doing this. The Bears are really good, and the Bears are going to the postseason.
Yep.
And we will have a postseason show, and you guys have a great one. Get your shopping done, okay?
Merry Christmas, fellas.
Merry Christmas, guys.
You got it. Take care. There he is, Tommy Waddle, Oleg Krutz. That is Studio 41 Football Recap Live. We moved it up to tonight so you can all start to celebrate your Christmas holiday as the Bears have given us all a gift, 11-4. And by the way, on sale, Clark Street Sports. They're selling like hotcakes. We just got the report. They're like, oh, my God. People are driving in from all over the area. Take that Green Bay hoodies and T-shirts. So go get them. They'll get them for you if you want to go to the store. ClarkStreetSports.com. For Guff, for Katie, for our great crew, I'm David Kaplan. Merry Christmas, and we'll see you next week. Go Bears. Take that. Studio 41 Football Recap Live is brought to you by Studio 41 Home Design Showroom. 13 locations, studio41.com. Vertical, in business since 1985. Chicago's chimney experts for chimney cleanings, masonry work, gas logs. Verticalchimney.com. Your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers, the official truck partner of the Chicago Bears. Hooters. At Hooters, originality isn't just one thing, it's everything. World-famous wings and more, served up by the iconic Hooters girl. Hooters, always original. Dr. Pepper, an American original, just like our Chicago Bears. Grab an ice-cold, refreshing Dr. Pepper today at a McDonald's near you. Special Olympics Illinois. Special Olympics Illinois, so I did. Learn more at SOILL.org. Apt. For the best appliances for football season, shop at Apt. Pleasing people since 1936. Find them at apt.com. Four Seasons. Heating, plumbing, air conditioning, and electric. For all the right reasons, Four Seasons. The Illinois Tollway. If you're a true Chicago fan who loves speed and efficiency, join the team that always wins. Sign up for iPass today. Driving to the Bears game? Get a 50% discount on your tolls with iPass.